Imagine waking up tomorrow with a credit alert of $1 trillion in your bank account. Nope, it wasn't a mistake. You were given money worth 12 freaking zeros. At this point, you could buy Twitter, rename it Tic-Yak, and still have enough to build a city on the moon. But is it possible that you could actually spend it all? And would it change anything? $1 trillion is such a huge amount of money, it's almost impossible to imagine. To put it in perspective, if you spent $1 every single second without stopping, it would take you over 31,000 years to finish it all. That's how massive it is. With $1 trillion, you'd have more money than Amazon, Google, and even Saudi Arabia's oil empire combined. And it's not just about having lots of cash, it's the power that comes with it. The power to end world hunger, rebuild broken systems, create new cities, technologies, or maybe even a real-life Wakanda. So here's the question we're asking today. If you woke up and it was all yours, how would you spend it? Would you go all out on luxury, solve global problems, or build something the world's never seen before? Stay with us, because the ideas we're about to explore, they might just blow your mind away. Now, before you imagine diving into a pool of platinum coins like Scrooge McDuck, let's take a moment to understand why spending $1 trillion is not easy. This isn't some wild shopping spree, it's a serious global responsibility. With that much money, one wrong move could hurt an entire economy or cause massive inflation in a country. It's more complicated than just buying stuff. Even billionaires often think they have the right solutions, but most of the time they don't. And the world we live in, it's full of problems. There's deep inequality, climate change, and the fact that some silly TikTok trends get more attention than life-saving medical research. Now, can we shock you a bit with hard facts? Did you know that just 26 people own as much wealth as the poorest 3.9 billion people on Earth? Meanwhile, in some countries, people are skipping meals or even boiling grass just to survive. So no, spending $1 trillion isn't just about being rich. It's more of figuring out how to use that money wisely or even rewrite the rules of how the world works. You know why? Because holding that much money is like having a cheat code to Earth itself. Alright, let's put the trillion to work. Here's what you could do with it. Fixing the planet. Let's say you put $250 billion into clean energy. That's solar panels on every roof, wind farms across coastlines, and big bets on nuclear fusion. You'd help cut down pollution, stop oil-related conflicts, and make cities safer to breathe in. And guess what? With just $250 of your trillion, you're already halfway to saving Earth. That's the kind of power most world leaders can only dream about. Cancel human suffering. For just $39 billion a year, you could give every child a free education. With $1 trillion, you could fund that for the next 25 years. That means no more kids working in factories or missing school because they can't afford it. Instead, we'd have a new generation of doctors, engineers, teachers, and maybe even Nobel Prize winners. We all know that education changes everything. It opens minds, builds futures, and lifts whole communities. So, goodbye ignorance and hello to a smarter, fairer, and brighter world. Sponsor free healthcare. Now let's talk about health for everyone, because what's money without life? With $200 billion a year, you could give universal healthcare to people in low-income countries. It'll give them access to vaccines, clean water, hospitals, and doctors. There are basic things everyone deserves. If you want to go even further, you can add just $100 million more, and you can stop malaria deaths in Africa for a whole year. That's millions of lives saved from a disease that's been around for centuries. Digital God mode. Let's say you set aside $100 billion, you could end the global internet divide. How's that possible? Well, you can start by launching your own fleet of satellites to bring fast, reliable internet to every village, mountain, and jungle. There'll be no more kids doing homework without Wi-Fi or remote communities left out of the online world. And yes, you'd officially be the first person to bring Wi-Fi to the jungle. How cool is that? Really cool if you ask me. Actually, the emphasis here is not just about streaming or social media. You'll be giving people access to education, jobs, and opportunity, no matter where they live. On the flip side, if your brain's melting in a good way, then smash that like button and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. It costs less than 1/trillionth of a cent. Let's fast forward to the future. Having $1 trillion means you could use $200 billion to invest in future technology that changes everything. We're talking about quantum computers that solve problems in seconds, AI that could cure diseases, and genetic therapy that could wipe out inherited illnesses. In fact, with that kind of money, it's possible to lead the way in building the next era of civilization. Who knows, maybe you'd finally make flying cars a real thing. End US homelessness. here's a big win with a small slice of your trillion. You could end homelessness in the US starting tomorrow. With just $20 billion, you can give every homeless person safe housing, food, healthcare, and a real chance to rebuild their lives. The wild part is this money is only 2% of your $1 trillion. You still have $980 billion left to spend however you want, even on snacks, spaceships, or saving the world. Maybe real change doesn't always need all the money, just the right decision. Help with student loans. Right now, student debt sits at $1.7 trillion, but with your $1 trillion, you could wipe out over 70% of it. That means millions of people would finally be free from the weight of debt. They could buy homes, start families, launch businesses, or at the very least stop stressing over FSA forms. When you do this, you're giving a whole generation the freedom to live fully without loans holding them back. And with this one bold move, you change lives, spark the economy, and bring hope to millions. Go Galactic! Do you know that you could fully fund NASA's Artemis program and send people back to the moon with just $98 billion? In fact, you could pay for 10 missions, build a moon base, and still have money left to aim for Mars. While some billionaires take short space trips just for fun, you'll be doing something bigger by helping humanity explore and maybe even live in space. I mean, who says Earth has to be your final stop with $1 trillion? After you've heard everything, what would you actually do with $1 trillion? For us, we'd build the ultimate mega project that combines big impact with smart innovation. First, we'd put $250 billion into global clean energy, making solar, wind, and even nuclear fusion a reality for every country. Then, we'd add $150 billion to make sure every child has access to education and the internet, no matter where they live. Next, we'd use $200 billion to build a strong global health system, one that can fight off future pandemics and protect the world's most vulnerable. Another $200 billion would go into future technology like AI, biotech, and climate solutions to move humanity forward. With $50 billion, we'd end homelessness in some countries, give millions a fresh start, and with $100 billion, we'd support small businesses in struggling countries, helping local economies grow from the ground up. That's 7 powerful moves that could change the world, and you still have money left over. In fact, you wouldn't be the person who bought a golden yacht shaped like your face, though sure, that's tempting. Rather, you'd be the one who actually saved the planet. The truth remains that $1 trillion can't just be used for buying fancy things alone. You can use it to build something that lasts. With that kind of money, you could fix broken systems, change lives, and even shape the future. So, the real question isn't what can you afford, it's what kind of world do you want to create? Seriously, having such a huge amount of money at your disposal is literally being handed a God mode budget and given the power to change everything. Now, we want to know, what would you do with $1 trillion? You can go ahead to drop your $1 trillion plan in the comments. Meanwhile, if you're wondering how actual billionaires spend their fortunes, then hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss this wild story. We'll be taking you inside the secret cities built for the super wealthy, so see you there.